the home of the do-it-yourself trucker. When everything goes wrong, you gotta Redneckanize.
All right, hey everybody, this is Ed with Redneckanize Radio coming at you. We're live here every Sundays at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. You can call in at 516-387-1733. And to be part of the conversation, just hit 1. We'll get you right in. And also, don't forget to go check out our website, redneckanize.com. This is the Unplugged Radio Network. So we're just kicking back here, having great conversations, and we're just going to go over to the phone and see what everybody else is doing out there tonight. And I think I know who this is. What's going on, bud? Is this Taylor? No, maybe not. People put their little number in and then they forget, probably. So.
Am I live?
Oh no, there's Jeff. There he is. Yeah. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, I figured it was either you or Taylor, one of the others.
I just did a 34-hour reset in Crawfordville, Indiana, and I heard some guys talking. They heard on some radio station in Cincinnati that there was some type of a protest shutdown today. I was just wondering if anybody saw any truckers shut down. I didn't see any.
No, I mean, and you know, I look at the news and everything on here on the Google, and I didn't see anything to that nature on that. So probably was much of nothing. Try to just get people stirred up.
A bunch of trucks shut down protesting vaccinations.
Well, you know, they said they were going to do that like 2 weeks ago when it first came out, and it was going to be like Monday. But the problem is that Hurricane Ida came through, and of course they already issued an emergency and everything like that. So what they did is that people already got on the internet saying, hey, we're not going to shut down because we're going to, you know, because the hurricane's coming. So we got to get down there and help out with the hurricane.
Oh, I just can't believe that truckers are they that hard up looking for something to protest? Do they want to protest vaccinations one way or the other? Well,
and that's kind of what I said there too. Is that, you know, there's so many other things we can get pissed off about. Why are we getting pissed off about this one thing? You know, one of the big ones.
It's right. It's a choice. If you want vaccination, go get vaccinated. If you don't want to get vaccinated, don't get vaccinated. Yeah. It's pretty simple.
Right. And what I don't like, and we see it out there, and of course the media pushes it and everything else, is that they're pushing that the unvaccinated are making it unsafe for the vaccinated. And I thought that was really silly. I thought that's what being vaccinated is that now, you know, I mean, why wouldn't you get vaccinated if it means you're going to be safe? I mean, that was the whole thing, you know.
Well, but they.
Oh, did I lose you?
COVID, and they've got the antibody. So why force them to get a vaccination?
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
They've already got the antibody.
Yep. And now they're saying, I mean, there's now studies coming out saying that the people that have gotten over it, you know, naturally with the natural immunity, they're actually in better shape than people that got the vaccination. That they actually have more antibodies in them. So
I totally feel that I'm autoimmune. I've been around people, you know, during, you know, I never stopped trucking because of COVID.
Right.
And, you know, and I get a kick out of some of these shippers and receivers that I go to. I mean, I don't bump the dock like a lot of hard-working truckers do, but they say mask required before entry.
Yeah.
And you walk in, you don't have a mask on, and nobody else has got a mask on either.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think our country's getting so compliant that, whatever you're going to say, you know, whatever, you know.
Well, that's the thing. It's, a bunch of sheep. Yep. Everybody's a sheep now. They just do, you know, they figure anybody in power has got to know what they're doing. They wouldn't have that job if they didn't know what they were doing, you know. So, you know, my biggest thing with truck driving is, like you're saying, there's so many other things we can get pissed off about. You know, we follow these rules. We have all these rules that we have to follow, and we don't think nothing of it. We just think, well, that's just how it is because that's how it's always been. But then you start looking at other industries that you were supposed to compare yourself to. Like, I think that truck drivers, just like how we talked about earlier, are essential. They're highly essential. They're much needed. You can't really function in a country without them. And that, you know, there's certain ones out there making good money, hopefully more than others, but that's the way it is. But in other industries, like doctors and lawyers and school teachers, okay, those type of people, do you know that those people are not required by the federal or state governments to undergo any kind of drug or alcohol screening at all? Like, they're not required. I mean, you can be a lawyer and be hooked on cocaine or marijuana, whatever you want, and you can walk into that courtroom and talk to a judge.
So sure about
what's that?
I'm not so sure about doctors. Doctors, like my son's going to school to be a psychiatrist, and they have random drug testing done on doctors anyway. In this field,
so in that respects, it's the facility he works at or the facility that he's going to. They're the ones that require that. The government does not require it. That's the point I'm getting to. The government does not require it. So it's kind of like how if you were a truck driver.
I wonder if that's state by state, Ed. Do you know?
Well, I know the federal government doesn't require it. So here in the truck driver, it's a federal law that all truck drivers have to undergo drug screening and a random drug testing, and that's a federal law. And that even if you have your own authority with your own truck, you still have to be part of a drug testing program. But if you are a doctor,
right? Okay.
If you are a doctor and you practice in whatever state it is, the federal government does not require you to take a drug test to be a doctor. Now, whether a state does or not, that's up to the state, and there might be some states that do, and there's a lot that don't. So, but yeah. Just because, and the reason I thought of that was because of this case going on wherever it is in North Carolina, where it was a lawyer who was hooked on cocaine and he murdered his family, and then tried to kill himself, or hired a guy to kill him, and all that and everything, and come to find out he's hooked on cocaine. He owes a bunch of money. His family's this huge prestigious lawyer family that owns this big law firm, and he's been working for them for he's like their Hunter Biden, in that family. He's hooked on drugs and he owes a lot of money to different people, bad people, and then he went crazy and killed his family. And when I thought of that, I'm like, you would think that the lawyers would sniff that out, that they would say, hey, there's a lawyer here hooked on drugs. He shouldn't be working as a lawyer. No, there's nothing requires anybody to do that.
I'll be done.
So that's what I thought was weird, that, hey, you can be a lawyer, and as long as the company that you work for, so let's say you work for a law firm, they might have a testing program, but there's no government law that requires lawyers to be drug tested like there is for truck drivers.
Before we go off there, I just want to say I sure didn't mean to get Greg all riled up.
Hey, that's good radio, buddy, right there. I'll tell you what, that's awesome. Yeah, no, and yeah, I know you.
When you make random accusations about a group of truck drivers, you tend to alienate.
But he doesn't.
The other truck drivers. I started out with a manual shift, but you can't. I hear it. I see it on Facebook. People always running down automatic trucks, and I tell you what, I've had this in 2 years, and I love it. I want to go back to stick shift. And as far as safety wise goes, for me, I think it's safer when I get in a tight situation of traffic or construction. I don't have to worry about what gear I need to be in or how to get it down slow.
Catching the gear, right?
All I got to do is worry about stopping and everybody around me.
Yeah. Well, I think. Yeah, I think he was going at because
Greg's point was brand new drivers, and that I totally understand that. I totally get that. But he didn't preface it that way when he started talking about it that way, and that's one reason I said.
No, you got.
Greg is old school, and he appreciates his stick shift. More power to him, man.
Yeah, well, and but I do agree with what he's saying, is that they do have restrictions. There are states that have that, where if you've trained on an automatic, there will be a restriction to say you can't drive a standard unless you've tested with a standard.
But what's crazy about that, if I have to go back and get a driver's test now, and I go in with my automatic truck, and I get restricted that I can't drive a stick shift when I was trained on how to double clutch.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the thing. We don't know. We don't know how that works because the funny thing is that when's the last time you took a driving test, like for the state, for the government? Like I've never.
Day one.
That was it. Ever since then, they've expected you to know how to drive a truck. So we've always said that drivers, that regular car drivers probably need to have regular driving tests, because they might pass that test when they were 16 or 17 years old, but man, now that they're 35 years old, they forgot how to drive. We say that all the time.
Oh, there's so many laws that I think should be written in the laws. I don't think flip-flops ought to be allowed in a semi-truck behind the steering wheel. I don't believe in it's distraction texting going down the road. But nothing's ever said about people have their foot up on their dash.
Right.
That ought to be all part of it, but there's no restrictions on that.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, you get in a hot situation, you got your foot up on the dash, it just makes your reaction time to hit that brake, gain control of the truck is that much slower.
Yeah, and that's just like you're saying with clothing and footwear. A lot of people will say you shouldn't be driving in shorts, because of certain things, especially if you drive in some type of like heavy machinery equipment or when you're doing that kind of stuff. Because like those flatbedders, I don't know about you, but I've very rarely seen anybody pulling flatbed not wearing like a full on jeans, boots, long sleeve shirt or whatever all the time because of the stuff they deal with.
The new young driver that works for some of them companies that make bonehead truckers every week. You see them in flip flops.
Yeah, but the real flatbedders, the ones that you know that are doing a good job, they'll tell you. They'll tell you right now. They're all like me. I remember when I first started, and I my trainer was wearing shorts. Now he'd wear shoes. He actually had like work boots, but he would wear shorts a lot. And he was in California, and I just thought that's that was okay. But when you get down to like working, and when you need to be working a lot, and especially on older trucks where you might have to climb up under there every now and then you need to be ready for it at any time. You can't just
You can tell the difference between old school and new school. Old school, you don't see old school driving, with flip flops and that.
Right. Yep. Well,
they know it's part of this. They know it's part of the safety gear, and really it is.
Yeah. Especially especially shoes. People even argue that tennis shoes shouldn't be worn, but I tell you what, open toed, anything like that, ladies out there driving,
I know
get some shoes. Don't be driving in them sandals.
Shoe off. I know drivers that take their shoes off to drive, but as soon as they get out of the truck, part of their safety gear is shoes.
Yeah. You see that a lot too. Yep, and I understand it because you get going down the road for a certain amount of time and things kind of get uncomfortable, and it's like I don't necessarily want to stop, but I just got to toe the ditches. That's what you see a lot of times. And you understand how that goes.
Get cramps.
Yep, yeah. Cramps. Yep. But I tell you what, stopping is way better than doing anything else. If you got to do something, best thing to do is just stop. And take care of it because
you're right.
Because something will happen. Just like you're saying, something will happen. And even if you take your shoes off, it's one of those things I always tell people. You doing something that doesn't necessarily mess you up, but what it does is it messes you up if somebody else does something. So if you decide, I'm gonna slip my shoes off and maybe reach down and scratch my ankle or something like that, and I'm going down the road, nothing happens, no big deal, and you're not going to make a mistake or anything like that, but somebody else is going to make a mistake, causing you to not be in your shoes when you got to get out of the truck, and you'll see that
anyway. We're at the end of the program here. I just wanted to put in 2 cents worth. And
no, that's great.
Like I say, I good show tonight. Good audio, by the way.
Yeah, we only got it fixed. I finally got everything kind of tuned out where I can get things going again. And I got a little, I'm learning. It's working out pretty good.
Yeah, good audio, good show.
There you go.
Say hi to all my Redneckanize friends. I'm ready for a show.
Me too. We appreciate that. Yeah, we're going to tell everybody about that. Is that coming up in March? We got Mid-America Trucking Show, and that's happening. There is still a show set to happen in Searcy, Arkansas. It's the American Truckers Jubilee, still set to happen in Searcy, Arkansas, right around Halloween. I think it's like October 30th, 31st, something like that. I think Halloween is Sunday night, I do believe.
Yeah?
So they're still planning on having that, as far as I know. It's just a small little thing being put on out there. I think.
Is that on the World Wide Web? Can you find it?
It's on Facebook, American Truckers Jubilee. So you got to search that. It's a Facebook.
I'll look for it.
Yep.
All right.
But yep, that's about it right there. And I think
good.
they said Taylor and what's the other guy's name? Bill Weaver and Taylor Barker are supposed to be.
Weaver?
Yeah, we're supposed to be appearing there at the American Truckers Jubilee in Searcy, Arkansas, on October 30th. So.
That Purple Trucker song, was that
no,
Taylor?
that was Leland Martin.
Oh, I was Leland. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
I know I'd heard him.
There you go. Yep.
Talked to him, so good deal.
All right.
Well, see you later.
All right, now, bud. Take care. We'll see you out there. Good deal.
You bet. Bye.
All right. So, yeah, we're just going to close it out for the night and had a great little conversation there. Everything's working out great, and I hope everybody else is having a great night as well. Let me go down here and get stuff we got going here. Like I said, check it out, redneckanize.com. Don't forget to go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Really appreciate everybody doing that for us. Where am I at? There we are. Good deal. So we're just getting things going here. Wrap it up for the night. We hope everybody has a great night out there. Make sure you stay safe and successful and everything. Don't forget, like I said, check it out, redneckanize.com. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to thank all of our sponsors, and that's DPF Regeneration, dpfregeneration.com, Trucker Tools, truckertools.com, it's a Trucker Tools app, or the Load to Ride Transportation, LTRtransportation.com. Please check those guys out and let them know you appreciate them supporting Redneckanize, because we really do appreciate them. And we're just going to have a great night out here tonight, and everybody stay safe and stay successful, and we'll see you out there on the road. This is Redneckanize Radio.
Now the bad guys run free in the street, while the good guys pay the price. They say people don't kill people, guns and rebel flags do. You can't speak of Jesus, how dare he ever speak the truth. I don't mean to offend you, day that I die.